Hi guys, Togo here with a new video, and this video will be a very short one, or at least I hope so. It is kind of a rant because, as you see, there are updated several PvP focused elements, but on the upcoming Mist of Pandaria classic experience. And I am all for that Mist of Pandaria hype. I'm going to play the hell out of it. I'm going to have fun while playing MoP Classic. I'm going to do a lot of PvP focused videos on the second channel because this channel doesn't do good about Classic, unfortunately. And truthfully, it's better for me to just post Classic content on the second channel. But weirdly enough, when I'm reading this, I'm having flashback and PTSD from retail that is actually not doing anything. No communication, no updates, no discussion, nothing. For the people that were on the fence on playing Mr. Pandaria Classic, I personally think it's a good idea to do so, at least for this first season. And if you want to hop out, you can hop out, because then season 2 will come out. Most likely you will have a third season for retail or whatever is going to come out down the line. But specifically, they're going to do a lot of changes. First and foremost, Conquest Cap is still going to be there. The Conquest system is going to be there. They have implemented it for Cataclysm Classic. They're going to do that for Mist of Pandaria as well, because it has been a huge success. And overall, it's just better for alts, for people that were not there at the first start of the season, to catch up very quickly. While with the arena point system that you had in TBC and RAF, which I hope in TBC Classic Anniversary they're going to do the same with Conquest, you cannot really catch up. Like, it is like a rich get richer kind of scheme, unfortunately. But Conquest Cap, very good. Conquest, very good. We're bringing back Gladiator and rank 1 titles and rewards for 2v2 and 5v5. And weirdly enough, I'm thinking about retail when I'm reading this. I feel like they're bringing it for 2v2 and 5v5. 2v2, which is the most popular bracket in whole Classic, and I believe if you have the rewards, you would have a very popular bracket in retail. They are not doing that for retail for some reason. They keep and gate kept it for 3v3, which is a dying bracket, unfortunately, because of multitude of reasons. The LFG being very bad, the soul shuffle being there, so why bother searching for teammates, having rank 1 and Gladiator very hard to reach because it is a dying bracket, so it is very deflated. You need some inflation to be able to climb to Glad if you are not a Glad player. It's very hard to get to that point, and you have just all the rewards stuck into 3v3, so solo shuffle, 2v2, and even solo queue RBG or even RBG, they have barely any rewards, so it feels kind of bad to play them. So every single part of PvP dies in retail for now. Don't know, and I don't care how many people are going to say that retail has the best PvP, blah blah blah. It's true to a certain extent. I think it is the most balanced game, and Mist of Pandaria is also very balanced in the chaotic form, so everything is busted, so nothing is really busted. In retail, the balancing is there. You have every 2 weeks normally a balance patch, which you don't have currently because we are late in the season or like mid in the season, where they drop the ball because they have other things to do for some reason, but they still do that like that. Unfortunately, they are just not there, and such a blue post you just do not see in retail. For example, here having multiple alts in Gladiator range no longer counts, so they are changing that as well. So it means that you can have a easier spot whenever you're going to get Glad or a rank 1. So obviously you're not going to have to fight for those spots as before, because some people had like 5 alts, 10 alts, whatever amount of alts they have in Glad range, they are going to count only for 1 in 2v2, 3v3 and 5v5. So it's a very good thing. Also, they're changing the base resilience because they saw, oh, okay, it's very bursty because we are on the last patch of Mist of Pandaria. A lot of people are doing a lot of damage. So let's do a base resilience, and they're going to set it to 62%. So it means that naked without any gear, you have 62% damage reduction. It is a fantastic way to dampen the damage, so you could actually have games that are not destroyed by like a one shot every now and then. It means that some classes are going to be nerfed regardless, because like for example Destruction Warlock, where you are relying on that kills more damage, well, you're going to rely a bit more about the sustain that you have as a Destruction Warlock. But anyways, base resilience is set to 40% for below 90, level 90, so if you're doing PvP below level 90, you're not going to be one-shot either, and battle fatigue is set to minus 30% healing and shielding for the duration of Arena Season 12, so it means that you are eventually going to get and you are eventually going to die if you get bursted out of CDs. That's going to happen. And that's a good thing. So it means that you are not going to have insane heals every single time, especially with that damage reduction. It needs to compensate, and that's why they wrote about it. They're also going to put a maximum PvE item level. So if people are thinking, oh no, I'm allergic to dungeons, oh no, I don't want to spend a bit of time in dungeons or in raids, that's all fine, because you are going to be maxed out by 473. So it means that it is effectively just nerfing yourself, gimping yourself, going to PvP with PvE gear, and you can get PvP gear pretty fast with honor gear or with auction house PvP gear or with the conquest gear. So it's really quick. The PvP is good. In general, you're going to have a good time, and I think with the many guilds that are currently on the server, so for example I am on Firemaw, I am in 2 different PvP guilds that are like with literally 900 characters in the guild. No, it's not 900 active characters, because they are like people that are not connected since 1 month, for example, but daily you have around 50 or 60 players. And those 50, 60 players are also looking to 2v2. They're going to do double DPS if they want to. They're going to do healer DPS comps. They're going to do 3v3. They're going to do RBGs. Like RBG runs, like win-lose runs, AFK runs to get the conquest. You have plenty of activities actually in the game in Cataclysm right now, which is kind of regarded as dead because it's end of the expansion. Right now it's active. Imagine if Miss Pandora is coming out, everyone is going to come back, and it will be a very active season. Season 1 will be a blast. I don't know about Season 2, because again, it's very reliant on population. Unfortunately, there is no solo queue in any form, and that's okay, I think. I wish there was, but I think Blizzard just doesn't want to have the backlash for some reason for the changes. I think it would be a fantastic change. Private servers, guys, already done that. If you're playing on Warmain, for example, private server for TBC or Wrath of the Lich King, they have a solo queue system which is really working well, and it has actually no issues. So you could just copy paste literally and saying this is mine, and they cannot say anything towards you because it's your game. Why am I mad? Because first and foremost, those things, this is the biggest thing why I'm mad at. That's why I'm making this video actually. Like, I don't understand how you cannot do that in retail right now. Like, there is no reason for you to not have glad titles, rank 1 titles, rewards, extra rewards, even like outside of glad, because everyone is not going to get glad. That's not impossible. That's impossible actually. But get rewards onto those brackets so you have activity. People are like demanding to play, but what's the reason to play except for fun? And I already said that multiple times. Fun is very subjective, and it's moment to moment. At one point, the fun just fades because you gotta chase something, and at one point there is another game coming out, and that fun can be done there, which is more rewarding than playing right now on retail. I find retail riddled with problems which are bigger than rewards in my opinion, but it doesn't help itself when it's not rewarding to play. If 2v2 had like rewards the same as in 3v3, if Solo Shuffle had the rewards the same as in 3v3, if RBGs or solo RBGs had the rewards as 3v3, I would play a bit more. At least I would try to play more right now than before. Now I have issues with like how the numbers are big, the power creep there is. I feel like the balancing is not really existent if you think about like a live service game. It is not Miss Pandora Classic where it's like frozen in time. It is literally retail where it's ever changing, and it is not ever changing for some reason. It is just staying, and you cannot tell me with a straight face that the current balance is the best that you have no iteration, no improvements to make, that you're not going to dare to make a balance patch right now. I don't know when the last balance patch I have read on Wowhead, and I do spend my time on Wowhead because I do hope on an announcement for Solo Shuffle and Mists of Pandaria, which I think it will not happen. Or for example TBC Classic, when is it going to come out? Like those sort of stuff. Midnight, is there new systems or whatnot? We have no information about retail. I feel like retail is like really abandoned by the devs, but the communication team, I feel like the communication, they are like scared for some reason. I feel like classic devs have more balls to actually communicate with the player base. If you think about it, SOD classic, you have Agrant doing a lot of like communications, and sometimes you're not agreeing with him. Sometimes you are like mad because he said something that is not in your vision of like how classic should be. But at least he tries to communicate to the player base. They are actually actively changing PvP as well. Here and there, they're making changes. Even in SOD, they try to do something with PvP. Unfortunately, power creep is a thing, and there always has been a thing in World of Warcraft, and that's such a bad thing because they cannot control their numbers. But I don't accept the fact that Mists of Pandaria Classic will get Glad and rank 1 titles back before retail. That's such a... I find it stupid. And I'm like thinking about Soul Shuffle, the most popular bracket in retail, says people, doesn't have any rewards that is actually worth to play except for a rank 1 and bragging rights. That's it. And fun, I guess. But I find it kind of hilarious that the most popular bracket, and I would say 2v2 is also very much popular compared to 3v3 in a normal environment, because if you look at TBC, Mists of Pandaria, Wrath, Cataclysm, I can even go for Walls of Draenor. 2v2 has always been the bracket where it's easy to access, easy to learn PvP. If you have a noob with you, you can carry him pretty much into understanding what PvP is, and maybe that's why they removed 2v2, because you can actually carry stuff. But if I have a friend that is PvEing, and it's a PvEer, but he wants to get into PvP, he asks me, how do I get into PvP? How do I learn the classes? How do I learn stuff? I would say every single time to go 2v2, because that's less CC to handle, less damage to handle, it's less chaotic, it's more of a checkers gameplay where it's about CC, it's about like landing your damage when you can actually do double DPS in classic expansions. In retail, double DPS is just dead because they don't care about 2v2. I wish they cared a bit more about 2v2, a bit more about the solo shuffle, and in Mists of Pandaria, the only complaint I have is they don't have a solo queue system, but I feel like a lot of people don't remember the time where there were no solo queue systems anyways before Dragonflight. Like, people are like saying that solo shuffle saved PvP, but don't remember the times where PvP was the most popular ever. It has been in TBC, Wrath, Cataclysm, Mists of Pandaria. Warlocks of Draenor was the most popular one. Those 5 have no solo queue. They had a vendor, they had even sometimes expansions where you need to do PvE, but still you had population and you have people caring about PvP. Even PvEers cared about PvP because it's a way to gear up efficiently and you can precisely pick your items. You don't need to have luck. I wish you actually understand that 2v2 is sort of a solo. It's actually easy to find someone to play with. It's harder to get 3v3 because people are like people are like caring about comp a bit more. It's a bit more elitist. But in 2v2, you can make everything work if you play well. You can literally make every double DPS work. Of course, there is like some more better double DPS comps here and there. Made a video about it in the second channel, but truthfully, this is a great change for Mists of Pandaria, but just makes me have a bad taste in my mouth whenever I'm actually thinking about retail, which is for me right now a disgrace that they cannot communicate this way. So clear, there are no question marks except questions like, is solo queue coming into Mists of Pandaria? And people are saying, like, whenever you're going to the beta and you talk with devs, because sometimes you have devs, They're saying they cannot promise anything. Ideally, there is a world where that exists, but there is too many things going on. That's what they say to me. Literally, they're saying solo queue could be good and should be good, but they are like scared to implement something like that without like proper coding with the MMR, the CR. And I understand, like, it's not like a private server where you can just do solo queue and you don't really care about the MMR and the CR and who you're facing and how it goes. But truthfully, it will make the game way better if you had like a solo queue system. Not soul shuffle, get soul shuffle out of my sight, but like just a pure solo queue where you find a healer in 2 DPS and that's it. And the MMR, like, try to be in the same range, but the MMR from the healer is not different from the DPS. And that's it. Very easy. And if you think, oh, you can have bad luck one single round and you can lose, you can do a BO3 for my part. Like literally like best of 3, the team that has 2 wins kind of thing. And if you have won one game, you lose one, you lose less CR. If you lose 2-0, you lose more CR. Something like that. It's not very difficult, right? But anyways, I have ranted a bit too long, but I wanted to get it out of my chest. I feel like the things that we asked multiple times, which are like the rewards towards the other brackets, which is 2v2 and solo shuffle and solo QRBGs and even RBGs, for some reason they get it pretty much for free in Miss Pandoria Classic. Like, we are bringing back Glad and Rank 1 titles and rewards 2v2 and 5v5. Like, guys, can retail learn from Classic one day? Like, literally. Like, I know people don't look like, I think the devs don't want to look back because they think that's a admission of defeat. But sometimes looking back and looking at the history, you can learn from your mistakes and improve your future. It does the same for everything. Unfortunately, a lot of people just forget about the history of the game or of the universe of Earth and what's happening, even right now with wars. But like, can we like improve from our mistakes? And I think the devs from retail, and again, maybe it's not the devs, maybe it's like the decision making from retail, they gotta do something. Put a PvP dev there, put someone that is actually caring about PvP, and you would have changes every single time because they would play the game and see the problems. Like anyone that plays solo shuffle, anyone that plays 2v2, anyone that plays solo QRBGs, and he is a DPS and he is a dev from the retail team, would actually know what's up with the problems, and they would come up with solutions that everyone is thinking at the same time. Like, there is no solution that someone says, I have never heard about it, because the solution is so simple that everyone has already thought about it. So now, devs, please get to work. Decision makers, please give some decisions towards PvP and make it better than ever. Because I want to play retail, but because of the power creep, number creep, the systems, the rewards being like, I don't know. I prefer Miss Pandaria. Sorry. So I will be spending my time on Miss Pandaria very soon. In 2 weeks, pre-patch is going to come out. In 4 weeks, 5 weeks, the game is going to come out. So I'm excited. I'm going to play Warlock. I'm going to play DK. The better versions of their classes. If you compare it with retail, it's a disgrace. But anyways, thank you for watching this video. I really appreciate you. Have a great day. Bye.